Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to paint the King Grayskull figure from the Fields of Eternia board game by Archon Studios. And for those of you who don't know, King Grayskull is an ancestor of Prince Adam, and therefore essentially the first version of He-Man. As you can see, quite a nice looking sculpt. And as always, the first thing we're going to do is cover it in a primer. Applying the flesh is a three-step process. I start off by putting on the base colour, which in this case is just a light pink, and that's followed up with a brown wash. And lastly, I add a little bit of white to the pink and give it all a dry brush. So altogether that gives us the mid-tones, low lights and highlights. For the hair I used a mid-range yellow, as I don't want it too bright like the cartoon. And then I move on to some of the dark brown elements. And this includes the wrist strap on the shield, as well as the wooden parts of the shield. And then I move on to a lighter brown for the loincloth and the boots. The detail is enhanced further by adding the dark brown wash. Then I dry brush on some white for the area which have any fur, which is on the top of the cloak as well as the top of the boots. And also give the loincloth a once over just to bring out the detail some more. Next I move on to the armour and the weapons, and for this I use gunmetal. And there's quite a lot of armour parts to paint, so it requires a little bit of patience. So now I just have the gauntlets, the axe and the shield to do. Using some silver, I paint the blades of the axe. With this being lighter than the gunmetal, it makes the blade look sharp. Next I paint the leather harness on his chest, and I had to take special care with this as the detail is very fine. After that I apply some black wash over all the metal areas. This seeps into the recessed areas and creates some definition, as well as adding some age to each of the items. There's a red jewel in the centre of his belt, and there's also one in the centre of his chest, but that's covered up with his hair. Using a flat red I paint the cloak, as well as the indented areas on the shield. I believe the cloak is supposed to be brown, but I wanted it to stand out a little bit. And now for the base. The base is mostly covered in stone, plus there's a fallen tree branch. Those are painted in light grey and brown, and then covered in a black wash. And while I'm using the black wash, I add some shadows to the cloak, and I carefully dab off the excess with the cloth. Using a cream colour, I apply dry brush to the base, and this just helps the edges to stand out. There's just a couple of the little areas which need some dry brushing, then that's the painting done. And the base is topped off with a nice black edging. And all that's left to do is to seal in that paint with a matte sealer. And there we have it, King Grayskull in all his glory. Don't forget that this guy's a precursor to He-Man, so he shares a lot of similarities, but he is a very different character. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if I can do it, so can you.